Hello and welcome to the Video Game Book Club / Video Game AV Club. We did another one. We did a
Combo.
combo.
2 for 1, actually 3 for 1, because we're going to be talking about
Yes.
the
The
game, the
game.
movie, and the junior novelization
Mm-hmm.
of the movie.
We read, watched, and played Ratchet and Clank. This is the 2014 reimagining of the first game that they made into a movie, and then they made it
2016.
2016. Dang, I thought it was 14.
No, the movie came out in 2016.
Oh, okay. I believe you. Yeah, so they made a movie and then they made a game based on that. And then they also made a book, I guess. They made two versions of this book. There is a younger kid version that's mostly pictures. This one is kind of like elementary school kid, like Scholastic Book Fair.
It is a junior novelization.
You imagine if there was like a senior unabridged novelization that's just like super long. They add bits in it.
It'd just be all the descriptions of what it would be. Maybe some internal dialogue.
Just overly wordy.
Yeah. All right, so this is. I have to actually open the book to find the author. It is adapted by Kate Howard from the script by TJ Fixman, who he authored for the game, Jerry Sallow, and Kevin Monroe. It is based on the characters created by Insomniac. So, Ratchet and Clank. It's hero time. Chairman Drek has a plan. He wants to destroy every planet in the Solana Galaxy. The only thing standing in his way are the Galactic Rangers, a team of heroes dedicated to protecting the galaxy. Drek thinks he's got a plan for the Rangers too, but he's not betting on the galaxy's two most unlikely heroes, Ratchet, a rare Lombax who works as a mechanic, and Clank, a cast-off robot from Drek's own forces. When the Rangers' plan fails, it's up to Ratchet and Clank to stop Drek. Can they work together to save the galaxy? Like, is that a weird question? Can they work together?
Can they?
They are like a duo, are they not?
Yeah, so this is a reimagining of the first game told from the perspective of Quark, who in the game is in jail and is retelling this story to his
cellmate. Yeah, it's like cell block. It's like
because it's very different than the original Ratchet and Clank, which I kind of liked because in that one, Ratchet and Clank didn't really like each other. That's where that came from.
I could see that.
I like the drama. I like friends fighting, if you haven't noticed.
Friends or enemies to friends, or
yeah, yeah, enemies to friends.
I was gonna say friends to enemies. But... All right, we played the game first.
Yeah, it was free when Rift Apart was about to come out.
I mean, I enjoyed it.
I liked it.
There was some levels that were frustrating, but
I liked it enough to play the entire series afterwards. Because for some reason, we didn't play Ratchet and Clank when we were younger. We played Jak and Daxter, but I'd never...
Naughty Dog ties.
I never, ever saw anyone talk about Ratchet and Clank.
I don't really
like,
remember. I've seen it, but right? It wasn't like a thing.
They had the Rift Apart thing during the Sony conference, and I was like, I've seen those guys before, but I don't know anything about them. And I thought it was weird because we played Sly Cooper, and we played Jak and Daxter, but for some reason, just Ratchet and Clank slipped our radar. And I think I want to blame the, like, sexual innuendo titles when I was walking around Blockbuster.
Also, I think I was in college when most of those came out.
Really?
PS2? Ratchet and Clank 2002. And we have 2003 going Commando. And then, yeah, 2004, 2005, 2006.
Yeah, so...
Oh, no, 2006, 2007, 2008. 2009, 2011.
Caught up.
There's a lot of freaking games.
Yeah, there is. Caught up, played all of them, learned the lore. I think there was like 18 or something.
Well, some of them are collections, so they're just the games. Then you watched the movie first. I mean, we kind of
both watched the movie first. Yeah. What was weird playing this game was because I was like, because everyone said this was a remake of the first game. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, yeah. I watched it and I was like, there's something weird about this. And then I realized it was a movie tie-in because all of the cutscenes in it had the little, like, you can't record this PlayStation thing pop up.
Oh, yeah,
and I was like, that's weird. Why would they say that? This game is super old, you know? But
no streaming.
It's because it was a movie and all of the cutscenes were movie clips.
But in the movie, you don't get that it's Quark's point
No,
of view.
you don't. You don't. I
Because
think the
it's
movie's its
Ratchet's
own thing.
point of view.
Yeah.
So that would be, yeah.
But it's still like a very different retelling of the first game.
And then, so the book is directly tied to the movie. It is, again, it's a junior scholastic. It is 140 pages. It's pretty large print.
There's pictures.
There's pictures in the middle, which is good because they don't describe anything.
They don't describe anything.
I had no idea what Ratchet and Clank looked like. I would be very lost. I still, I was reading about, it's been a while since we played the game, and I was reading about Victor, and I was like, I don't know who Victor is.
Yeah.
Kind of important in the
kind of important.
Game
and he's not in the the little pictures they put in the middle.
Yeah.
Actually, there's like barely anybody in here. You get Drek, you get Ratchet, you get Clank, and you get Quark. That's pretty much it. They don't even have
Nefarious is in there in the back.
Yeah, right, Nefarious is here.
Why do I keep calling Nefarious when his name's Nefarious?
Who says Nefarious?
I do.
Why do you say that?
I don't know.
Stop it.
I'm making him fancy.
Nefarious.
Nefarious. Dr. Nefarious. So again, it's about 140 pages. It took me about an hour to read.
I guess they kind of have the other Galactic Rangers in like the up.
Oh.
At the top of the pages, they have the little pictures of them.
That's at the end, though.
Looking cranky. You're right.
It's not throughout.
At the beginning, during the
beginning
prologue
and the end, prologue and epilogue.
Yeah, each chapter is just a picture of Ratchet looking angry. It's got a cool border around it.
Yeah,
I kind of like that. I dig that. It looks like a little
data pad thing.
Yeah,
that
like a little
carry.
data pad.
Can you say this was hard to find?
Yeah, because they don't
like,
sell it at Scholastic book fairs anymore.
Yeah, it's an older book.
I wonder if this came wrapped in plastic and gave you a necklace or something, like a little
probably a bookmark.
Yeah, you're probably right. I always bought the necklace ones.
Yeah.
Those were tight.
That was always like the pen or the.
It's usually books that like the necklace or the ring was important in the book.
Yeah, that's that marketing for you. It gets us every time.
They could get a little wrench necklace or something. Anyway,
so we liked the game, the movie.
Yeah. So the game is funny because it cuts off a lot of movie parts, but it also adds game sections
and different planets too.
They add Pokitaru from the first game into that, and that's not in the book or the movie.
And then you get I don't remember her
obviously
name.
They added boss fights.
Alaris, I feel like, is a bigger part of. She's the gadget girl.
Yeah.
In the game,
yeah. She's barely in it.
And they don't really treat her well, which is commented on in both the book and the...
Yeah.
But, yes, so the book is pretty much the movie.
Yeah, it's like the same script, only
Dialogue,
added descriptors. There's some things that have changed dialogue-wise, or dialogue that's switched around.
Before we started, I think I asked, do you think they get to watch the movie first, or they just get the script? And I think this is the second time where we're just they got a script, and
they just got a script.
This comes out before, because there's definitely changes that make its way through the both game and movie tie-ins.
Yeah,
but it's very, very similar. I would not suggest reading it if you have never played or watched the movie, because you would not know what's
Good
going
luck
on.
Finding it anyway. You don't really need to read this. You can watch the movie if you want to.
Well, the movie is an hour and...
I would recommend...
hour and 34 minutes.
All three of them, the movie, the game, or this, I'd pick the game.
Yeah.
The game has more stuff in it. It does move sort of fast. I remember when we played it, I was like, how did we arrive here? Where are we? It's just like snap, snap, we're here. And the movie does fill some of that in, which was kind of nice watching it again after playing the game. But yeah, just play the game. Game's fine. Mm-hmm. Game's always cheap on PS4 exclusively. So it's kind of a bummer. And it's really fun. I 100%ed it because I wanted to go into the special room that had all the extra stuff.
Where is that room located?
It's called the Insomniac Museum, and it's back in your beginning garage on Velden. You have to collect all the gold bolts, and then more rooms open up.
Is there anything?
It's really creepy because there's
Easter egg in there?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of. It's like a bunch of different garages, and there's props from all the different games. Like you just store all the props in there, and they have like the Japanese commercials and stuff. But what's cool about it is it's super eerie. There's like no sound.
BioShock, where you find like the reels.
Yeah, it's like the museum in BioShock where you're walking around and you see like the models and stuff behind glass and stuff. It's like that, although there's no sound. Ooh, the Bioshock one was creepy too, because there also was no sound. They don't have musical themes for these, so it's just like sound effects, dead quiet. You hear a little bit of beeping in the background. Like you have to use your sniper scope to zoom into stuff to look into like crevices, and they hid little guys hidden everywhere that you have to like look through your sniper scope. It's kind of cool.
I think the other thing that we talked about as we were watching the movie was that they used a lot of the voice actors from the game in the movie. So you have Ratchet is voiced by James Arnold Taylor. Clank is David K?
Yeah.
Quark is Jim Ward. And then we have some
And Nefarious is the same guy.
celebrities. Well, Nefarious, he is also a face actor as well.
Oh, well, that's the same Nefarious that's in all.
His name is Armin Shimmerman, and I want to say Deep Space Nine is where I know him from, but yep, Deep Space Nine. In Bioshock, he was the voice of Andy Ryan. He was Dax in Deep Space Nine, which is where
There's a character named Dax in this one, I think.
I remember his, and he was also in The Hitcher.
Oh, there's Brax. Never mind.
He's also in Psychonaut.
As
Augustus Aquato.
Aquato? He's your dad?
Yes.
Aw, he's Raz's dad.
And he's some voices in Mass Effect, and he still does like face acting stuff in The Rookie and some other things, but yeah.
Okay. Well, he slaps as Nefarious. That's a great voice. I bet it hurts him.
Yeah, it was. He tries. So there's some other celebrity voices. We have Rocky Balboa himself, Sylvester Stallone, who plays Victor, who I totally forgot about.
Yeah.
Who that was. That was actually a boss that you fight in the game. He's a giant robot. And we have Drek is Paul Giamatti.
Okay.
Does he play him in the game?
No.
No?
No. Not at all.
John Goodman is Grimroth, who owns the garage. We have Rosario Dawson is Alaris. She does a bunch of voices, though,
She did a good job.
Bella Thorne.
All right, I'd like to apologize to Bella Thorne because I thought she did a bad job, but turns out she only did a bad job in the game. Because I thought she did a pretty good job in the movie.
She only has like 5 lines in this movie.
Yeah, but she did... Okay, in the game, she's awful.
Yeah.
They actually got her to be in the game, and she's so bad at it. It's like she did it over the phone, monotone in her car. It's kind of awful. But in the movie, she's perfectly fine.
I think those are the main...
What about Brax?
Brax is Vincent Tong, who was a voice actor. He plays Crash in Ice Age Adventures of the Buck Wild.
Nice.
And he plays Renegade Nux in Sonic Prime.
The guy we couldn't think of the name of.
Yeah. Who else would you like to know?
That's it. That's all the characters
Zed
that matter.
was another...
Oh yeah, Zed was in it, but Zed doesn't matter.
I think he's another voice actor too.
Don't worry about him.
Andrew Coden. He was in Eureka. I love that show.
Okay.
I have that.
Well, forget actors. Who cares? Let's move on.
All right. So you want to spoil?
Yeah, so we're going to spoil the game and the book and the movie all in one go.
Should I read the prologue?
Sure. It's kind of long, though.
The prologue?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Shall I summarize the prologue?
Yeah, please summarize the prologue.
So we are above the peaceful planet of, is it Tenemule?
Sounds good to me.
We have Alonzo Drake towered over...
Drek?
It's Drake.
How many times did they say Drek in the movie?
Who? I guess that is they put him as one of the Rangers.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the cover art, by the way.
We forgot talking about that. This is hectic as hell.
I think it's just the movie poster. So we have Ratchet and Clank in color in the center. Behind them in a blue color is the other Rangers.
So you got... There's a lot happening in the background here. You got a really big Victor, who's a big robot guy. You have an actually larger Captain Quark, which makes sense. For some reason, you have Alaris and Brax, and that's it on the cover.
Yeah, no other actual bad guys.
Oh no, that's not her name, is it? Alaris is the other one.
No, that's Bella Thorne's character.
Yeah.
Cora.
Sorry, Cora. And then a really, really big, like, kind of opacity, too much, Drek with his broken planet that he's trying to make. they're on an asteroid, I think. I think the tagline for this movie was "Let's kick some asteroids," which cringe. Am I right, fellas?
It just says kick some asteroid.
Oh,
It's a little different than the movie poster. The movie poster, Quark is holding up Ratchet and Clank, the name and the characters.
oh, I see. There's like robots in the background. It's a lot happening, actually.
So they're above a planet because they're gonna deplanetize it because they're blowing up planets.
Yeah. So the Blargs never. Well, their planet, according to the original game. I don't know if this is still true for this. Get ready for some Ratchet and Clank lore here.
I think he says that we never had a home
They
planet.
did have a home planet originally, but it got too polluted.
Sounds like the game.
And it was Drek's like dad's fault because they owned a company, like a big corporation that caused the whole place to be polluted. So Drek thought it was his duty to go find a new planet. They charged people to live there, and then he was just gonna pollute it all over again and repeat the process so he can stay rich and make a bunch of money. That was his evil scheme. So he has to take bits and pieces from other planets
To make a perfect
to
planet.
make the perfect planet.
But you don't get that until halfway through.
But it just looks like he's destroying planets right
Yeah.
now. But he's destroying uninhabited planets. And it's not, like, nobody really cares that much until it starts being inhabited planets.
Yeah.
Because he wants pieces.
Well, they don't care until
From
he
them.
comes to get the Rangers because he's gonna take out an inhabited planet. And
Yeah.
they're like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
So he's like preemptive attack that causes his downfall. Probably so they can also evacuate the planets because this is a kid's thing. So they don't want to look like monsters. So we're destroying the planet. Drek has a robot assistant named Zed, who we find out is an intern.
Yeah.
He's waiting for his music career
He's
to
at
take
his
off.
temp job.
He's always ready and willing to do his master's bidding.
For some reason, they bring him back in other games, which I thought was weird
Because
because
he's quirky.
this game is so, like, off the actual timeline of Ratchet and Clank. This game is not canon at all. It's just, like, a side thing.
So they're about to blow up this planet, and of course his people are there, and someone's cell phone goes off because he's like, don't, Stanley, are you seriously still texting after what I just said?
Classic joke. All they have is flip phones, by the way. They all have flip phones.
They come back.
In the future.
They're back in style again.
Yeah, let's see how that works. They can't do smart flip phones, okay? Because, like, if you
Dude,
flip
the
it,
sidekicks were where it was at.
it's gonna, like, bust the screen.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So then Victor comes in to smash him, and it calls his mom, like Stanley's phone, and she's like, there's a conversation there, and that's the joke.
The joke's kid.
Then they blow up the planet. Chapter 1, we're in Veldon. Music was pumping.
Techno was playing.
$4.98, $4.99, $500. The punishing voice, that would be $4.99.
The punishing voice?
Of the fitness instructor. It should have been like $4.98, $4.99. In front of the TV, a lone Lombax named Ratchet did push-ups as a pumped up Solana trooper led this morning's
jam.
Pump it up. Led this morning's workout. Is that all you got? The trooper voice boomed from the TV. Come on now, no pain, no gain. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Can't feel the burn, that's good. If you can smell the burn, that's bad. So Ratchet's working out because he wants to be
A Galactic Ranger. It's a Galactic Ranger workout on TV.
And then he's like, can you take it? And he's like, yeah, I can take it. And he's like, all right, 2,000 more.
Oh boy.
No.
Not for that little cat man.
2,000? No pain, no gain. Ranger workout. We'll be right back after these messages.
Do 2,000 push-ups while these commercials go on.
Ready, go. Ratchet is flicking through the channels, happy for a short break. This does not happen in the movie. It just automatically goes to the commercial where there is a
No, it's a news thing. It's not
Yeah.
a commercial. It like interrupts it.
Yeah. Hello.
Breaking news.
Dallas Wanamaker here. This newscaster went. Tonight at 5, another uninhabitable planet is destroyed without warning or cause, marking the 4th in recent memory in our once peaceful galaxy. As a result, the president has requested that our ever-vigilant Galactic Rangers increase their numbers from 4 to 5. Just 1.
Really? Just 5?
Just 5.
All right, says Dallas.
And now a message from the man himself, Captain Quark. The TV goes blank, and then the shot of Ratchet's lifelong role model fills the screen. His
'Cause he's a
muscles
very large
rippled
man.
beneath his green superhero suit, is the
Ooh.
description.
What did he write this?
Space. He boomed a wondrous realm of adventure and peril and Quark stared for a moment. Bigness. So basically, they are going from hometown to hometown, interviewing people to join their team.
Yeah, in the game you have to do an obstacle course.
Yeah,
but
that was way better. That should have been in the movie.
In movie, it should have been. You have to just do an interview.
It's an interview. So he is like, yeah, I'm super excited. Ratchet's in it to win it, but before he can do that, he gets a visitor. Mr. Micron.
Yeah, but he works at a machine shop, so he's got a pickup when customers picking up their car.
Hello, I'm here to pick up my ship. This old man.
Alien man.
He brought his ship in to get the ejector seat fixed, and Ratchet decided to give him
like
an
a
upgrade.
magnet?
He did a whole bunch of stuff to his ship.
He made it faster, and he added a giant magnet to it, and the guy's like, that's cool, but what do I need that for? And he's like, I don't know.
No one knows. But
why
wasn't it better?
Get something fixed when you could get something upgraded. Mm-hmm. But then everything goes haywire. The ship takes off with the magnet not turning off.
And of course they're in a machine shop, so he's got all these tools that are chasing him. This is in chapter 2. Yes, is your seatbelt on? Unrelated question. Is your seatbelt on? So yeah, they're flying through and he's trying to fix things as they go, and then so he finally gets into the ship because he's being dragged behind it, and he's like, hey, your tail's in my face, and then they're about to hit a wall when finally Ratchet puts 2 wires together. Seconds before the ship crashed, Ratchet presses the brakes again. The ship skidded, screeched to a halt, a hairbreadth from disaster, and the assorted metal tools that had been trailing behind them flew past and exploded against the dusty cannon wall.
And then the ejector seat worked.
Yep.
So it ejected the guy right out of his ship.
So he did fix the thing that he wanted him to.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I have a feeling that's going to show up on my mid-year review. Not like, hey, you might get fired like that day.
He won't get fired because he basically is being taken care of by that guy.
Because he just like showed up one day, right?
Yeah, he's like an orphan.
And there's not like, are there any other Lombax?
Not really. No, they're not supposed to be canon in the lore, but there is one that shows up that's a female Lombax.
Because it's a love interest?
No, actually.
Is his sister or his mom or something?
No,
just more than one exists?
That was that. She disappeared, and then like they switched off and called it Ratchet and Clank Future, where they were like, he's the last Lombax now. The other one, forget it. She doesn't exist.
She died.
Yeah, sure. She's just missing. So anyway, they all live in a different dimension, I guess. There's a whole big long-ass backstory that spans 4 games, and I guess the newest one, as to what happened to the Lombaxes, why Ratchet's the only one here in this galaxy, and then the new one, there's an alternate dimension version of it.
And so we go back to on the planet quote War II, a layer of smog hung thick, and this is the headquarters of Drek Industries. This is where Drek tells Victor that they're going to go after the Galactic Rangers. Because the planet that they want, that has all these fun stuff, is heavily patrolled by the Galactic Rangers. There's only like 5 of them out there, aren't 4 of them, and they're all on the same boat, aren't they? Or ship?
Yeah. The Phoenix.
Yeah. But they heavily patrol one area. And
well, I mean, there's also the robot Galactic Rangers that are like the side Galactic Rangers in this one. You remember the ones that were like doing the workouts?
Oh, yeah.
The original Galactic Rangers from the 3rd Ratchet and Clank game were just robot dudes.
And then Drek tells us soon the Galactic Rangers will be destroyed and I'll be able to complete my masterpiece. And then this brings us to chapter 3. Ratchet returns to the garage with Micron's ship. The boss is waiting for him. And this is where his boss tells him to dream smaller.
Yeah.
He's like, I just need an hour off for lunch to go interview for this cool position.
Yeah.
And he's like,
He wasn't going to give it to him, but he let him go.
Because they have business to do. Because it's almost summer.
It's always summer. We live in a desert.
And so he gets permission to go off, and he'll be like, I'll be back before you know it. They're at Gill Fairground, the bustling of the Galactic Ranger hopefuls. Hundreds of residents have turned up to try to convince Captain Quark that they had what it took to be the 5th Galactic Ranger. And things don't go well for our Lombax.
He's too reckless, and he has too many citations.
He's got a rap sheet.
And they were like, no, you're not allowed.
And so
he gets kicked out.
And he has to go back in shame. You're right, I should dream smaller.
Sad.
Back to chapter 4 is at Drek Industries. We get Dr. Nefarious, which, do we see in the movie, is Nefarious brought out this early? He is, right? Because he's got the robots.
Yeah.
So he's
showing off the robots that he's making.
Yeah, everyone thinks that he's dead. He died in a prison, but he's
not.
He's not. He's here and
he's being evil. He
is a mad scientist, and he's making warbots for Drek, and they're basically, they made them and they're showing them off. It won't just kill the Rangers, they'll annihilate them. And they kill the light.
Yeah, that's where we get Clank.
The little bot scaring off. Yeah, so it is here, but we don't. Well,
his name's not technically Clank yet.
It's defective. Oh, defect detected. Like preparing for immediate destruction.
Until Ratchet gives him the name of Clank, he's like, I'm number 702,650.
Did he give him the name in here?
I think so, yeah.
I don't remember that.
I remember if it's either, I don't remember when this was, but I was
when
in the ship.
Him?
I thought he was in the ship. He like moved the ship and it clanked him around and he was like, I'll just call you Clank.
Oh, I don't remember that in here. Well, we'll find out.
Yeah,
it's effective, so they're gonna try to kill it. Drek spots a defect. Go play, Victor. Victor is chasing after it. The bot ran fast as his short legs would carry him.
the bot, aka Clank, has like morals, I guess, opposed to the other ones, because he sees the plan that was imprinted in him and he's like, I gotta stop this.
So he jumps into a shuttle and escapes. Victor fires with the blaster glance harmlessly off the shuttle's wing. Victor hated to fail. It's just gonna get thrown in his face the whole time. The defective bot, which is what they call it, sets coordinates for the Galactic Ranger home base. Destination set for planet Kerwan. The computer replied, we will never make it, but hey, what are you gonna do?
These are the jokes.
Oh dear.
Are you laughing yet?
It was too late to turn back now. And we have Grim. Ratchet comes back. Turns out you were right, I should dream smaller. And so Ratchet's feeling sorry for himself, and he sees a strange object that had just crashed and it landed in the backyard. So he goes to... It was a ship. He's got to go take a closer look. Danger detected. Danger detected. I told you we would not make it. But did you listen to me? No. Ratchet goes in, there's this plume of smoke, and there's a bot. So it's unconscious. He knew he had to get it out because obviously the ship is going to explode. They struggle. 4, 5, 4, 3. Ratchet got the bot out and kaboom. Flames licked at Ratchet's heels as he sailed upwards, cradling the bot safely in his arms.
I was just looking up because I was like, the reason why they changed the plot in the new Future series and they made like Ratchet the last of the Lombaxes and they made Clank, he was actually a different species from this like clock in the middle of the universe called the Zoni.
The Zoni?
The Zoni. They're like this
like
little
time zones?
So that's what made him, and his like soul, they look like this. His soul went into the robot or something like that. But that's why he's different. He's not like other robots. He's a freaking Zoni.
Okay, so here's where we get the name.
A time wizard.
So he says, I have to go to the Rangers. Hang on, Ratchet says calmly, slow down, you've been in a crash. What do you say we go back to my garage and I'll run a diagnostic? And he's like, thanks, I appreciate it. The bot thought for a moment. I suppose my proper designation is Warbot defect B542967.
Australian now.
Oh, it's all Australian. Ratchet holds up his hand. Maybe I'll just call you Clank.
Oh, that's when he does it?
Yep.
Okay.
He's just like, no,
Stop talking.
I don't like your name. And then from then on, it's Clank. But Clank didn't understand. Oh, because they're trying to shake hands.
Oh, he doesn't know how to do that.
Hold out your hands.
That was the fun thing about original Clank in the first game, was that he's just adorable because he doesn't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
But he does know, like, facts, I guess. Only knows trivia.
Science. Nah.
Yeah.
They go back to the garage. He gets fixed up. He tells him that there's something of galactic importance. And Ratchet's like, This is also where you get the joke of like, hey, I'm friends with the Galactic Rangers. That's why I have
so many pictures of them.
Why aren't you in any of those photographs?
Someone has to take the pictures. It's a classic joke.
I'm not a stalker.
You're lucky that Clank doesn't know that joke because he was just born.
Yes, I know the guys. That's the ticket. And so he is going to take him.
He never calls him out on it, though.
No.
Later on, when he finds out he was lying, he just kind of gives him a look.
Yeah.
And that's it. He just never's like, Can't believe you.
Chapter 6 starts back at the Hall of Heroes in Alera City. Quark and the other Rangers are feeling less than optimistic about their quest to find a new recruit.
Because they're picky as hell.
And Quark is like, why are they sending us out to the boonies? He doesn't like it when people talk to him.
No. But he likes when people praise him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a complicated character.
After all, there's nothing S3 can't handle.
Oh.
The three... Wait, I thought they were looking for the fifth one.
Yeah, they are, but they ignore Alaris. It's usually just Quark, Brax, and that other girl.
Cora.
And Bella Thorne.
Bella Thorne. Forget Cora, it's Bella.
It's Bella Thorne.
And then we have a kid called Oli who's like, I'm your biggest fan.
They gave him a name. That's nice.
Yeah, his name's Oli. I think he comes up later.
He does. They pull another joke that was stolen from The Incredibles. You'll see
It's touching me, because he's like wrapped around his leg. And an enemy warship comes on. Citizens take cover. Oli flew through the air screaming, I love you! And so they got to go fight, because all of these warbots are coming out to destroy them. Victor is there.
Commanding the warbots.
Mm-hmm. Ratchet and Clank had borrowed Mr. Micron's ship. Isn't it broken?
I mean, everything worked on it, right?
I guess it was just a faulty wire.
I guess. I didn't realize they stole his ship.
It doesn't have an ejector seat anymore. The ship wasn't in perfect condition, but pieces kept falling off as they soared through space, but it did the job barely. I don't remember
pieces falling off of it, but I do think I remember seeing the same blue-looking ship. So that tracks.
Ratchet just hoped that it would take them as far as Alera City. And then, of course, they pop in. You get that. I haven't been able, because Clank is staring at Ratchet. He's like,
I can't tell what you are. You're not a Daxter. You're not a Sly Cooper. You're not Dan, because it was a picture of the guy that's another Ratchet and Clank thing I don't want to get into.
I'm a Lombax. A Lombax? Yeah. I crashed on Veldin when I was just a baby. No note, no message, no name. Huh. Kind of like you.
Aww.
So they come into the battle, and it's an invasion. We're too late. Ratchet says, I totally thought you were making it all up. They're going to figure out their next move, and their next move is to,
Their plan is to use that giant magnet that he put on this old man's ship to, bring all of the robots up to the ship, to their ship that they're using, and, chuck them at the big ship that's dropping the robots.
And this was a difficult level in the game, right?
I wouldn't say it was that difficult. We just got lost.
We just couldn't figure out what to do.
We got lost because we had to find or pick up a bunch of robots, and you have to throw a select number of them at the big ship. And yeah, that's what you do. And you do that, and then the ship blows up.
Chapter 7.
What's happened in Chapter 7?
The fight.
Okay, so the fight happens. You kill the big ship. You go land. Everyone's like, wow, you guys did it. Total strangers. We don't know who you are. And Quark comes up to your ship because he wants to get all the attention, so he talks to the press, and he's like, it's not that big of a deal, Drek's not really a threat, and Clank's like, Drek is definitely a threat. We should be worried about this, and the media is like, hey, are you gonna ask those two to be part of the Galactic Rangers since they literally saved the city? And Quark looks over and is like, oh, it's that little backwater kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna look bad if I say no to, yeah, absolutely. And then that's when Clank looks over at Ratchet being like, I thought you guys knew each other.
I think you're quoting me out of context. And then Clank presses a button on the side. I'm not just a civilian. The Rangers are actually my friends, because he records everything he does.
Oh yeah, he does
like,
bring it up.
Do you record everything I say? Do you record everything I say?
But he lets him slide on it pretty easily. So. Yeah. And then also his adopted dad back on Veldin was watching the news and sees him just ditch him and join the Galactic Rangers. I think it's back to Drex. Yeah, because he's having a meeting with Nefarious and Victor, and he's like, what are we going to do about this?
Chapter 9. How did this happen? Yeah,
I'm speeding through this. Okay, get ready. Here we go.
3 chapters, like, super fast, because that's basically what it was.
It's too elongated.
So yeah, how did this happen? Nefarious and Victor hang their heads in shame. You were supposed to understand how they think. How did you not see this coming?
So yeah, so he's like, how do we fix this problem? We've got this new Ratchet dude, and Nefarious is like, how do you defeat heroes? Not with power, but from within.
So Quark is on the TV screen and he pauses it and he's like, I'm getting an idea, boys. He pointed at Quark on the screen and laughed maniacally. You're a genius.
Yeah, he tries to get Drek to think, like, use Quark. Yeah. Use Quark to... Because he's lame and will definitely turn code.
That simpleton who would believe whatever we tell him is what he says.
Because Nefarious knows Quark very well because they used to work together.
Back on Ilaria City, where they are basically hooking him up with some gear and training him. And this is where we meet a teenage girl named Alaris.
A teenage girl?
That's what it says. Inside the intelligence center, a teenage girl named Alaris. She was not a teenage girl.
She's not a teenage girl.
And she was playing a video game, which was
the multiplayer for Ratchet 3. Or Deadlock. No, I think it was 3.
She says, haha, that's right, lives at home 472. What's the matter? Don't like getting beaten? When are you going to cry to your mommy?
It is what she says, yeah.
And Clank basically gets dropped off in her office, and then...
Yeah, they're going to be buddies now.
Ratchet gets taken to actual training.
He gets new outfits, he gets to try out all of the classic Ratchet and Clank guns, but if it's not the turret launcher, or the Warmonger, or Mr. Zircon, I don't want to hear about it, so we're skipping it.
And then we go back to Clank, is this really your office? And she's like, budget cutbacks. I don't mind it, as the last guy who did this job was crazy.
The last guy was Nefarious. He went insane from being disrespected so hard. He was the one who made everyone all these fun weapons before. Now that's her job, I guess.
Then we find out that each of the planets are missing a piece or a famous landmass. And so they're going to tell the Galactic
Rangers,
calling warriors. But no one wants to listen to them because they are the B team.
They're the brains.
And there's Meatloaf at...
yeah, so Ratchet and Quark come in on jetpacks and just wreck that office and ignore them and destroy they go up to the ceiling and destroy it. And Ratchet's like, what are you gonna do? I gotta follow my boss. And then he just runs away.
And Clank's like, do they always treat you so poorly? No, Alara said. And then more quietly she said, yes. And then so Ratchet and Clank step outside for their break from their first day of training. And everyone's like, Ratchet, I love you!
Everyone loves Ratchet. There's a bunch of billboards of him everywhere. It's funny because this is a reversal of the third Ratchet game where Clank has like a TV show where he's Secret Agent Clank and everyone loves him and Ratchet gets super jealous.
And then someone throws trash at Clank because they thought he was a trash can.
Rip. Sorry! Anyway, Quark is pretty mad that Ratchet's more popular than him. He comes to pick him up and take him back.
Yes, because inside the war room, Cora, Brax, Alaris, and Ratchet listen to Quark's plan for attacking Drek Industries, and he draws it with crayons. First, we halo drop to the Squark City, fire a whole mess of bullets, and take Drek into custody so we can be home in time for waffles.
LOL random.
Everyone cheered except for Clank and Alaris. What? That's our plan? Yes, it is. Pardon me, Captain, but Chairman Drek is cunning. He will be prepared for our assault.
So they just don't listen to them. They pull a vote because there's 3 shooty people and only 2 smarty folks. So they lose, and we're just going to go through with the plan of show up, shoot things.
And then they put Clank on Ratchet's back. Because
he's the only one who's been there before.
Yeah, so they need him, but he also replaces his booster pack. So it's like you need each other to get off.
It
the
definitely
ship.
sucks to play as Ratchet without Clank because you don't get that double jump and the like glide thing. Um, Also kind of sucks to just play as Clank because he's so slow.
Yes.
He's got them little legs.
All right, so we are in space, and then we land on the.
We land on the Drek ship,
Mm-hmm.
and it's quiet. It's too quiet. There's no alarms. It's super weird. It turns out Drek's plan was to kind of back them into corners with Mr. Zircons, which are these tiny bodyguard robots that will, protect anyone who deployed them.
Mm-hmm. And Drek is watching their every move.
What the heck is her name? I keep forgetting.
Cora.
Dang
Bella
it.
Thorne.
Bella Thorne. Ratchet and Bella Thorne are on a team. And Quark's on his own, and Brax is on his own.
Yeah.
Which I think is weird because you brought Clank because he knows the place, but like I guess those two can just go do whatever they want.
Then you have to have a member of the team with you. And so
Yeah.
it's the girl. So they initiate phase 1. Drek is watching. Let's scatter the cockroaches. And Zed is copying him because that's what he does. Soon the Rangers will be eliminated and there will be nothing to stand in Drek's way. Anyone hear that? Quark whispers into the communicator. A faint sound rose. And this is where Cora is. They run into the Zircon.
One of those Zircons, they get pushed to, or Cora and Ratchet get pushed into a room that has a deplantizer schematics.
Yes, they get all the info because they got the robot.
They got the robot. The robot can actually read stuff, I guess. The rest of them can't read. And Quark gets pushed into Drek's office, where he basically gets... I'm not going to say tricked because he's not smart enough for that.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you should switch sides and join us because then you can get your popularity back from Ratchet.
Because I think it's simply dreadful what Ratchet has done to you. He made people forget who the real hero is. He's playing to his vanity.
And it works really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So
his name is Copernicus?
Copernicus Leslie Quark.
Of course it is. All you wanted to do was protect the galaxy, and how do they repay you? By dropping you for some, well, I don't even know what that creature is.
So
I could never betray the citizens of Solana. My friend, betraying them is how you get them to love you. It's not reverse psychology. Yeah, so they have PR pros are shouting ideas like, you're the victim. He pushed you to do this. You didn't know what you were doing.
We'll make a Netflix documentary about you.
A holofilm. A trilogy. In 6 months' time, you won't just be Captain Quark, the hero. You will be Captain Quark, the survivor. I think, and then when he's like sabotaging stuff, he calls himself General Quark. I don't know where that came from.
Him, probably.
So again, they found the deplanetizer, and then Drek is leaving the ship, and he leaves without Zed, his personal assistant.
Yeah, so they get to interrogate Zed.
He's like, I'll write you a recommendation, and he's like, you don't even have my email address.
What's his email address?
Is it in here?
It's spacegangster72 at zed.com if you want to email him.
Do you think that's an actual email address?
That's a good put. Probably not anymore.
Yeah.
But
it was not in the book, but
what?
They do say it in the movie. So Bella Thorne Cora has Zed by the leg and is upside down trying to get him to talk. He's like, no, I signed an NDA. I can't
do it. She almost drops him and he's like, okay, fine. So they basically... He says that they're taking over Novalis.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
but
like,
that's
Novalis
populated.
It's populated.
43,618,924 people to be exact. The Snorkelsons just had twins this morning. They're keeping track. We gotta move. They're on their starship Phoenix. They set their coordinates for Novalis. They had to hustle if they were going to be any hope of stopping Drex. So in the movie, they automatically start evacuating the planet.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they get on the Phoenix, they're evacuate the planet, and that's what's happening. Zed is in a cell singing to himself. In the movie, he was beatboxing because he's starting a music career. It's just waiting. It's just a temp till his music career takes off.
Follow him on SoundCloud at spacegangster72.
Hey, Captain Quark, buddy, remember me from Drek's office when you signed that contract? And Quark is on a mission. He's sneaking through to the control room. Here we go. General Quark moves into position. He's talking to himself he's sneaking around to disabled the weapons.
Yeah, of like his ship and all of the small ships.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the deplanetizer, Dr. Nefarious is preparing for his biggest evil scheme yet.
Is this a dust and gas one?
Yes. Dear diary, journal.
Journals for boys.
I've been having mood swings again. 1 minute I'm laughing hysterically, and the next minute I'm laughing maniacally.
That's pretty good.
He stopped considering.
Can you make it a little more creaky?
I guess it's because
super
everything is going exactly according to plan. Soon I'll be long gone, and the entire solar system will be nothing but a giant cloud of dust and gas.
That's a good one. Claps all around.
And then, of course, there's someone
a blarg
there.
right behind him, and he's like,
"How long have you been standing there?"
Just at the part where you said dust and gas.
It's my dietary journal. I keep a very strict record of everything I eat and which foods give me
dust and gas.
Exactly.
And steam.
Then we go back to the Phoenix. It's approaching the planet. They notified the ambassador of the coming attack, and we are evacuating. No one wanted Drek to destroy another planet, but they also know that they don't have a great track record, so they're just gonna evacuate.
So they're going towards Drek's ship. The whole gang.
They ask Quark
Galactic
for the
Rangers
plan.
And Quark's like, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna talk to him. And everyone's like, he already destroyed 4 planets already. I think we're done talking. That's my Belt Thorn impression. Thank you.
That was good. And Alaris, of course, she has kind of a plan, but then she also doesn't, because as soon as they give her the space, she's like, oh, I have to think about that.
Yeah, she doesn't really have... Well, we don't actually hear her plan, because she's like, I have a plan. And then Quark mutes her and drives onto the ship anyway.
I'm going in.
And then immediately after he's on the ship, all the Blarg ships come out and they start shooting. The Galactic Rangers are like, oh no, our weapons aren't working. We've been sabotaged. Alora tells them to pull back, but they're basically in a space fight.
Yeah.
They're just dodging around while the Blarg shoot at them. And Ratchet's like, Quark's in there fighting a whole army by himself. I gotta go get him.
Error. Weapon system compromised.
So Ratchet's gonna be a big old hero and go and get Quark. So he just drives forward, has it get shot a bunch, and then eject him close to the ship so he can like space jump onto it.
And at the same time, they have identified one of the ships with Alaris and the Defect. They don't know his name.
Sylvester Stallone was pretty pissed that
he got away.
That Clank is on that ship. So he's like, teleport me on the ship. And they're like, we can't. There's shield. And he's like, then get me close. And so he does the same thing Ratchet does.
Yes.
Which is spacewalk onto the ship.
And then they hear like a
clink.
Clink. Oh, maybe the ship is just settling.
Must have been the wind. Anyway, Clank goes and investigates.
And he's like, oh, I think we might have a problem. Buzz. Suddenly, Victor's electro blade slices through the airlock door, narrowly missing Clank's head. Clank jumps up and hurries away. They definitely have a big problem.
So Victor is so set on getting Clank. The fact that he can't chase him down because Clank is very tiny.
He's like going into vents and stuff.
Is amazing. He almost gets Clank, but then Alaris jumps him. And then
he throws her into the water tank.
Into the water tank. It cracks, and he is like, oh no, water, I can't step on that. And then Clank's like, I have an idea. And he goes and grabs, I forgot what this weapon's called. I think it's called like the Thunder Crack or something. It's a weapon in the game that you shoot it and it creates a rain cloud on top of them.
Oh, that's what we didn't like that one.
And electrify, I don't like it that much.
Back on the deplanetizer, Ratchet gets communication before Alaris. She asks, Ratchet, where are you?
Does it really matter the order?
No, it doesn't.
I'm in the scene. I'm in the scene right now.
Quark did something to our ship, so Alaris is already notifying him that Quark's a traitor, yeah. But I don't know how she knows that, though.
I guess she just assumed because he sucks.
Yeah.
I'd assume, too, to be honest, out of all of them.
Yeah, so she thinks Clank's in trouble, and so again, she gives him the...
But she doesn't tell... Ratchet doesn't know because he's on the ship already.
But she's talking to Ratchet.
He doesn't know because he doesn't find out until later. Well,
she just says, Captain Quark did something to our ship.
Oh.
Nothing's working. And so he's too busy on, trying to win the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's going to the main controls. Let me speed ahead to find out what that gun's called.
I want to go back to the scene with Sylvester Stallone for a second because I wasn't done yet.
No, that's where we're at. No, I'm there too.
The thunder crack.
Yeah.
He poured water on him. He rusted. He died. That's all you needed to know. He's a super rusty robot, and
Yes,
Clank's
because
over here
Clank
being like,
is waterproof.
I'm waterproof. That's my Clank. You like it?
That was good. That was a good laugh. He pulls the trigger. So
it's almost like the Scooby-Doo laugh of a robot.
Yeah, they don't tell us what the gun is, but it says with a clap of thunder, the rain cloud rained down on him. So yes, and he rusts immediately. That is a defect. He's an old model.
Poorly designed.
Yeah. And Ratchet now back on the deplanetizer. Drek.
He's trying to solve a deplanetizer.
Mm-hmm.
He gets caught by Drek, and he put him in a ball
Of like electricity magnets.
Yeah,
like
think about the thing from The Incredibles.
But it's not touching him though; it's like around him. Yeah. And then of course we get the I never had a proper planet. I spent my formative years underground where everything was dark and wet and hot.
And he rolls him past Quark's room.
Oh,
Quark is all buddy with a blarg. Ratchet's like, Quark?
Mm-hmm.
Quark's saying,
This is awkward.
Just press the button to close it.
Yep, that's exactly what it says.
Freaking devastated. And they put Ratchet in a ship and just launch him off.
Oh, because he's got to watch it.
Oh,
they want him to watch the planet. So he's like, toss him into one of the shuttles. I want him to live to see his failure. So home to millions.
Gets destroyed.
Yep. Good thing they evacuated because.
Did they tell you that later? So Ratchet is sad and defeated again, and he goes back to his planet of Velden.
And Quark gets his ID card. Here's your ID. Welcome aboard.
Oh, Quark also watches the planet get destroyed, and he's all sad. Trying to
thanks.
humanize that monster.
And then he sees someone, and he thought he died a long time ago. Doctor.
Nefarious.
Oh, and then they release the harvesters, and they take that tiny bit of planet that they were there for. And then they bring in new Core 2. So, like, out of this wormhole, they bring the planet to put the next piece on.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's super
janky. Did it, Father? I did it, and it's beautiful. And so everyone knows about Captain Quark's betrayal, according to the Dallas Wanamaker's newscaster voice. In the wake of Novalis' destruction and Captain Quark's shocking betrayal.
Ah, who saw that one coming?
Mm-hmm. And Ratchet
did.
is having a hard time because he let everyone down.
Yeah, he's throwing away all of his Quark stuff. Mm-hmm. And he's back at his mechanic shop.
He's like... As the president has ordered a galaxy-wide alert to all Solaran residents are to remain in their homes while authorities manage this crisis. This blowing up planet crisis. Please stay in your house. Though Novalis was successfully evacuated, the question remains: did we put our trust in the wrong Lombax?
It's like funny that they blamed Ratchet for this when it's 100% Quark's fault, but whatever. Go off, Solana Galaxy. Anyway, he's moping, and his adopted dad, Goodman, it gives him some life advice that's like, one, he says, your suit is beeping and making a lot of noises, and your friends are trying to call you. You should turn it off. And
it's annoying.
It's super irritating.
Also, remember when you stole that rocket when you were just a young lad?
Yeah, there's a picture of him
3
with,
cops to come drag you down.
And he gives him...
I guess I just wanted to do something big. I wanted to matter, you know. He says... To be a hero, you don't have to do big things. Just the right ones.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Actually, no thanks. I have my moments.
And then he falls.
And then I thought I might find you here.
Yeah, Clank shows up. They stopped calling him, and they finally just decided to go pick him up.
And he's like, it was a complete disaster. It was not a complete
Basically
disaster.
telling him to stop moping, and he's like, there's a difference between blaming yourself and taking responsibility. Mm-hmm. So he's like, you have to kind of take responsibility and actually fix this if you are going to just blame yourself and stop being a little mopey baby.
Yeah, if you truly want to be accountable, you will endeavor to make things right the next time. Because there's one more planet that Quark needs.
I mean, Drek?
With Quark.
With Quark.
Yeah.
With his new BFF.
Partner.
Anyway, the entire Galactic Rangers show up, and they've come up with a plan. They're actually going to listen to Alaris this time.
Mm-hmm. We get the joke that she's like, sorry, I messed up. And Bella Thorne Cora So it's like, you should see my cadet photo. It's very 80s.
Yeah, both her and Drex, I guess, messed up in the 80s with their pictures.
They're going to use the MAGA booster because the plan for Alaris says we don't need to destroy it. We just need to push it off target.
Yeah.
And so he's like, hey, I put a large magnet on this guy's ship that I thought I destroyed.
Maybe he
You
rebuilt
know, destroying it several times.
So they're just going to push it with a magnet. They're going to have to go into, like, the core of the deplanetizer and shift it off course from there. So their plan is to drop Ratchet and Clank using a hollow guise, which is a thing that you do use in the game to dress yourself up to look like Quark, so they can get in there. And then from there, they have to go to the gravity depulsor ray majigger.
None of that is described in this book.
To go.
That sounds about right.
Some techno jargon.
I do have to say, and we talked about this before we started recording, but the boss fights in the game were way better than the boss fights in this movie.
Well, there was, like, no boss fights in this movie.
That is true.
Well, that's not true, because one's coming up.
Yeah.
Because when he goes and gets onto the deplanetizer using the Quark disguise, and now he's gonna go put that magnet on the whatever. Quark's there, and it's the boss fight time.
So Quark goes to Drek and he's like, you tried to kill my Rangers. You said you'd leave them alone. And he's like, I meant it at the time. Ha ha ha.
Ha 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 ha.
And he's like, well, you watch out for Nefarious. You don't know what he's capable of. I do. It's all right here on his resume. He even juggles. But
Special skills.
people will say and do just about anything for the right price. What was your price, Quark? What was your price for selling out your friends? Your face on another cereal box, perhaps. And is this where he turns him in? Yeah. So, then Drek gets turned into a sheep.
Yeah, so Quark leaves to go mope. A lot of moping in this movie. And Nefarious turns around and uses the sheepinator on Drek, turns him into a sheep and throws him onto a shuttle and shoots him towards his own planet that he's making. New War 2.
The beginning of the end. Let the games begin. He's going to destroy it.
Because the new planet that they're trying to get is explosive. That's the problem with the planet, is that if they use the deplanetizer on it, it will explode and it will destroy the whole galaxy.
It's Umbrus.
It's like Umbriel.
Oh no!
That's from our Elder Scrolls book last time.
Yeah, last time. Umbrus. Blowing it up will result in a chain reaction that will destroy the entire galaxy.
That's what he wants for some reason. He just wants to destroy the entire galaxy and make it turn into dust and gas.
They're like, why would they want to do that? And then Zed, our intern, says Umbrus was not Drek's idea. Duh. It's Nefarious's. Dr. Nefarious's? No, Steve Nefarious. Of course it's Dr. Nefarious. And apparently Zed is part of our crew now.
Yeah, he switched sides after he saw Victor get rusted.
Clank's like, I thought Nefarious was dead only on the inside. Otherwise it's very much alive. Okay.
Old Nefarious can't come to the phone right now. Why? Because he's dead. And he's
They could have made that joke. Oh, they should have made that joke. Okay. Later that day, we are now on Umbrus.
Are we on Umbrus?
No, we're not.
We're next to Umbrus.
Hovered above the airspace. We're as close as we can get without being spotted. What's the plan? Well, I've been
Ratchet there
working hard on something called the Hollow Guys.
Okay, we already explained this. Now Ratchet's on the ship.
Clank is tapping into the mainframe. The weapon system blasted out a warning. Mm-hmm.
You gotta move all your mini-bots around, create bridges and jumping things and solving puzzles. That's how we hack.
Nefarious.
Nefarious?
He is...
It's no longer Nefarious. He's dead. It's Nefarious.
Nefarious. He's going into an escape pod. And they're like, where are you going? Me? Nowhere. Certainly not out of a system-wide blast radius.
Yeah, a blonde guy shows up and he's like, I can't find Chairman Drek anywhere. We need your help.
And then he tells them that they've been infiltrated. You want something done right? You have to do it yourself. And he's working a strategy for a counterattack. And Ratchet spoke quietly to the other Rangers. We're clear. All units move in. Way to go, you guys! Clank knows that they're in trouble. Greetings, cadet. Captain Quirk shouted, using a jetpack hovering ominously over Ratchet and Clank.
It's boss fight time.
Boss fight time.
I liked this boss fight in the game because he commented on like every weapon you used on him.
Yeah.
I remember that. He was like, "Oh my god, not the warmonger."
So Ratchet's like, I'm placing you under arrest. Well, you can't do that. I'll arrest you right back.
On what charge?
False arrest? Being annoying? Who cares? You stabbed your own team in the back, Quark. Just like you stabbed me in the back. Taking my fans, my sponsors, my lucrative endorsement deals, my parking space. You were my hero.
Squarespace doesn't sponsor me anymore.
Now you're no longer.
No, I don't have enough followers. You stole all my followers, Ratchet.
It's better help for you.
It's BetterHelp. Now only BetterHelp will sponsor me. And they're, and yeah, okay.
Oh, it's so cute. The little Lombax with his little gun.
Yeah, so he has the punching gun, which I don't like either.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, that was awful.
Yeah, it's so useless. You might as well use the wrench. But anyway, he punches him in the face. They're just switching between weapons. Quark uses, like, the ice ray and the blaster, and then he switches. Ratchet's not really fighting him. He's just kind of running away.
Yeah, Quark has a death blaster. Ratchet fires a set of buzz blades.
I hate that weapon.
Buzz blades? I taught you better than that.
Yeah. He also hates the buzz blade. Me and him on the same page.
Yeah, and then we're at the tornado spun wildly, threatening to swallow Ratchet and Clank if they fell. Tornado launcher.
Yeah, tornado launcher is a weapon. He think he does use it in the game too.
Various, maybe a homicidal lunatic, but he sure can make a gun.
I think they have a moment after that. Where isn't it his
the trading card. Yeah, it falls out of his pocket and hits him in the face, and he plucks it off and holds it, gazing at a picture of himself from long ago.
From like a couple days ago.
And he's like, if Ratchet's like, if Umbris is destroyed, everyone will die, including us. Is this how you want to be remembered? He couldn't hurt people like this. He was a ranger. His job was helping. So he tele-equipped a blaster into his hand and blew the tornado launcher.
So we're still in the room. He decides to help with the, like, putting the magnet thing on the gravity repulsor or whatever. So they do that, but then it causes the room to tip because the entire planetizer, like, shifts. And it misses.
No, they're trying to arrest Nefarious, too.
Nefarious is there also, but, like, the place is shifting, so, like, they're all kind of falling off, and Quark's holding on. Ratchet has magna boots, so he can really do whatever he wants. Anything that's magnetic, he can just stand on. Quark doesn't have that, but he doesn't have a jetpack anymore, I guess. I thought he did, but whatever. He's holding onto the thing. Nefarious is trying to shoot him. Mm-hmm. He uses the Rhino, or he's about to use the Rhino. The Ripia, a new one. But before he can use the Rhino, Ratchet comes in with his wrench and just smacks Nefarious in the face. And knocks him into his evil device thing monster that you fight, the boss fight. It's like a giant robot that he just goes into.
They're also hitting buttons, so the deplanetizer is now ready to go. And then it missed. The blast from the deplanetizer soared through the galaxy, sneaking its way towards a different target.
Oh, I think they put magnets on the inside, but then also like the two ships of Bella Thorne and the other guy are on the outside. And they, like, shift it with their ships.
Was this in the movie where Drek returns back to his Blarg form?
Yeah, it does.
Oh.
So he arrives on his planet, New Quartu. He gets out as a sheep, and then he turns back into
Drek.
Because
the Blarg.
The sheepinator doesn't last for a very long time.
And so it missed the planet, but it hit New Quartu. And the planetizer was out of control. The inertia from the blast propelled the spaceship through the atmosphere, speeding towards the planet Umbris. Just a few minutes, the ship would crash and burn, and everyone inside would be smashed to smithereens. They're like, get out of there! We're working on it.
So how did Nefarious get defeated? Because I remember it was a boss fight in the game, where you had to actually fight him in the robot thing. But he actually doesn't die?
So he swings a wrench at Nefarious, knocking him over the good old-fashioned way with force and strength. The good timing, the Rhino backfired against Nefarious's body, electrifying its owner.
Oh, so he just fell off.
He stumbles, plunged off the edge of the platform, careening through the air. Meet the Omni Wrench, Ratchet called after him. He kept following, his legs and arms flailing until he reached the deplanetizer's central core. His body began to melt, and then he disappeared into the bright light.
Okay, so in the game, he gets into a robot and you fight him. In this one, he just falls and melts.
The robot comes later.
Oh, it doesn't?
At the very end, that's the...
Well, that's when he turns into a robot.
Yeah.
But he's in a robot in a boss fight.
Alright, so they're trying to escape.
Quark's on a scooter, and Ratchet and Clank are on top of him, and he's scootering through, and they get to the teleporter on bridge, and Quark gets accidentally thrown off and onto a glass thing that starts to crack, and Ratchet and Clank, he's like, go without me! I'm gonna be a hero now! And Ratchet and Clank are like, no! And then they try to peel off the teleporter and then push it over to him, and then like midair teleport with him there back to their ship, the Phoenix.
The deplanetizer hits Umbrus, the teleporter activated, and everything went white. Months later.
Well, they showed up on the ship, right? This is in the movie, which is different, I guess, in the book.
They left the scene out.
Yeah, they all started to barf because obviously
they went too fast,
They went too fast, and then they teleported.
Oh, sorry. Moments later. That does happen in the book.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I said months later. Moments later, are we dead? And because Clank says, I'm surprised you guys are doing so well. And then,
Then they vomit.
Bunch of vomit.
But then Ratchet decides that he's got to go keep a promise that he made to an old friend. And
you don't have to do big things to be a hero, Quark. Just do the right things. Because he's like, how many planets do you think I have to save before they make me a hero again?
Yeah, you're going to jail. He doesn't go to jail in this.
No.
He does in the game. Probably should go to jail for this. But yeah, Ratchet's going back to Veldon to help out his buddy. And Quark's going on an apology tour to promote his new book. I said I was sorry, all right?
That is the title of the book.
Yeah. Okay,
but when asked for a comment, the former captain had this to offer. Prepare to be blown away by my epic humility. The news story continued, flashing through the images of Quark, Clank, Brax, and Alaris, basking in the love and admiration of the crowd.
Yeah, they came back to a parade, but Ratchet was gone, and they're like, where's Ratchet? Pan to Veldon, he's working on ships.
Gonna finish his promise, because it's always summer.
And he's like, you know what, John Goodman, is that his name? I thought you'd be so touched by my gesture that, like, I wouldn't have to really do this. Yeah. And he's like, well, you're wrong. We have more stuff to do. And then Clank shows up and gives him some hot tips on how to be more efficient. And Ratchet's like, well, you could help me. It's a 2-person job. And Clank's like, okay.
Perhaps I could remain here and assist. If you do not mind me staying around a while. Once a ranger, always a ranger, believe me. The minute someone tries to blow up another planet, I'll be ready to go. But hey, what are the odds in that happening? Precisely 87,534 to 1. You're a real wild child.
I hate that.
Clank.
That's different than the movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember what he said, but it was different and it made more sense.
It was more of a conversation.
It was.
And then we have an epilogue. On the empty planet Umbrus, a metal hand pushed through the smashed, tangled mess that was once the deplanetizer. It's
Nefarious.
And he is now a robot.
As he always should have been. It's really weird that he wasn't a robot originally, but whatever. I'm not Hollywood screenwriters. What do I know?
The doctor was back, and he was ready for more evil than ever.
It was kind of messed up, though, because in the movie, they have these little nanobots that go and, like, basically torture him and turn him into a robot.
He doesn't want to be a robot.
He doesn't want to be a robot. But in the games, he's all about robots, because he's just a robot. Anti-squishies, all about them robots.
Nefarious.
And that's it. That's the whole thing.
And that is our adventures with Ratchet and Clank, the game, the movie, and the novel. I feel like if you didn't know anything about Ratchet and Clank, you would be totally lost.
It's not descriptive. Yeah. The way that the dialogue changes was not great.
It is definitely, if you were a kid and watched the movie, and then you're like, hey, I kind of like that movie, and then you're like, I'm gonna buy
It's like your family takes you on a camping trip, and you really want to watch Ratchet and Clank, but you can't, so you just have to bring this book and read it.
For memories.
For the memory.
All right, next month. We are venturing back into the world of Assassin's Creed.
I hope it's better this time.
It's actually, so it's a prequel to Origins, and it's called Desert Oath. So we're going to see Bike of Siwa, who is my favorite assassin.
All right. All right, see you next time.